Gentlemen, how are you?
Hey,
We're doing great.
We're
How are
good.
you?
Awesome. Well, first of all, we'd like to introduce Norb Park, Associate Broker with Sotheby's International Realty Canada. Joining us today, Stephen.
Hello.
How is it going today?
Well, I got to be honest with you, I'm a little bit confused. I mean, there is so much going on in this real estate market right now. It's pretty twisted, which is why we have our esteemed guest, Associate Broker of Sotheby's, Norb Park. Norb, we wanted to sit you down with your vast experience and ask you some questions as to how we can sort of unscramble the current market.
Okay. Well, let's start back with a little history.
Let's rewind.
Let's
rewind. The first recession I saw was in the 1980s, and that was a result of the government introducing the National Energy Policy, and that killed the oil patch, and that killed Calgary. And then in the 1990s, the feds introduced the goods and services tax, and that was the start of the decline in the 1990s. In the early 2000s, of course, we had 9/11, and then the subprime mortgage meltdown in 2008.
Yep.
And now, of course, we've got the current recession. When I say recession, I mean in terms of the housing market here in Alberta, specifically because we can't get oil to market, and secondly, because we have federal government policies that are geared to two major markets in this country,
right,
to the exclusion of the rest of us. So we're hurting for the mortgage qualification rules right now. That's hurting us. So I've seen this in the past, and the good news is it always returns, it comes back. The market's cyclical, but right now there's a lot of misinformation in the market.
That's a key point, isn't it?
It is a key point, yes. The difficulty is that your home is an investment. It has investment value. You worry about it from that perspective, and you look for information about your investment, and you find out fairly quickly that you can't get accurate information. It's too often anecdotal, it's misreported, or it's misunderstood when it's discussed. Even some of us in the real estate industry don't do a good enough job of explaining that to our clients.
Yep.
And so that's one area we really have to be good at, and we're not as good as we should be sometimes.
Agreed. And Marianne, we had this conversation just recently about the importance of having a very candid, factual conversation with our sellers or prospective sellers to make sure that we're not just continuing to sort of dilute the market with overpriced listings when the reality is very different.
Exactly. And, taking it to that leadership role, if you will, as an agent, right now is very important. And it's taking the information, as Norb was saying, and deciphering it to know what is correct and how that information can actually affect your home and your neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah, it's very important right now to think about it from an agent perspective. What are you trying to do? Part of the thinking would be, I'm going to go out and get as many listings as I can in this marketplace, irrespective of how they're priced. Where I think the exact opposite is a more logical strategy.
Agreed.
And that strategy is to deal with sellers specifically and buyers that are practical about the marketplace, and they're prepared to work with you to market their home, do the things that they have to do to make that home marketable, as opposed to holding on to some number that they have perceived market value and they want to hold on to that. That's too difficult in this marketplace.
Well, and just to end up here, Norb, we've come out of it in the past. What got us out in the past? What do you think can help Calgary get out of it now?
Well, we as I said earlier, it's cyclical, so we will come out. Interestingly, what helped us back in the 80s was the Olympics.
Okay.
The Winter Olympics coming to Calgary was a big deal, and it got us focused on something other than the marketplace and the day-to-day economic woes that we were faced with. So I'm all for us having the Olympics again.
Excellent. So if you haven't had a chance, remember to vote tonight. Otherwise, until next time.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Norb.
Thanks, Marianne.
Thank you, Norb.
Thank you.